Hi, my name is Shonda Davis, and today I'm going to talk about two videos that talk about happiness. One video that I am about to review, it is called Acts of Kindness by Sonia, excuse me if I say this wrong, Liberowski, and the other one is Secrets of Happiness by Brendan Bouchard. So the first one, Acts of Kindness, she talks about how doing an act of kindness, it helps you to be happy. Because if you do an act of kindness, it means that you are a generous person, right? So when you do something, it makes you feel good about yourself because you're helping someone out. So her theory is that if we all do an act of kindness for a period of time or for a full time of our life, we will be happy because we're giving back. And so she talks about how she did an experiment with her students about giving back and doing acts of kindness. And she gives examples of their acts of kindness. For example, the guy does acts of kindness. One of her students' acts of kindness was going to visit his grandmother, giving a homeless guy a Whopper. Another student said giving a homeless guy money. So as you can see, there's a difference from the first student and the second student. The first student believes that his acts of kindness is going seeing his grandmother, which some people will say that you're supposed to do that anyway. But people's mindsets and brains work differently. So people's acts of kindness will be different. The second video, Secrets of Happiness by Brendan, I'm sorry if I said that name wrong. He talks about how we have to learn how to be happy within ourselves from our past, our present, and our future. He talks about accepting our past and accepting our struggles and accepting that we've gone through something, but we've survived. We've, moved on from that. And he talks about being happy in the present, about how we have to be excited about now. We have to engage and we have to appreciate the now. And then he talks about the future, about getting excited about what's ahead, and thinking positive. He talks about that if you think positive, that your mindset will change. He talks about a happiness, being happy with your physical appearance. And he says that's, some people don't have common sense, but it's easy to be physically happy by drinking water more, by working out more, by going out and riding a bicycle. He talks about faith and spiritually, about if you're a spiritual person, then you have faith and a higher power, and that the happiness comes from believing in something and treasuring something. Which one that I think is scientific? I would say the second one, Secret of Happiness. He talks about happiness is the most studied areas of human endeavor in history of the world. So he talks about that people have been studying this forever, for centuries, about happiness and about how to be happy and how to create your own happiness. I believe happiness comes within. And Sonia, hers is not scientific. Hers is just about how to achieve it by helping others. So hers is not as well scientifically. She doesn't bring up about how studies have shown that if you do X and Y, that you become happy. On the other hand, Brendan, he does a better job at being scientific and about how people have been studying being happy for the longest time, and that, people's opinions are different from people's opinions now. I think that both of the videos make a good point. They talk about how to be happy, finding happy within. And they also talk about, just being that person you want to be. You know what I mean? So if you want to be happy, you have to be that person you want to be. You have to acknowledge who you are at that very moment in life and keep going with your happiness, whether that's getting involved at church, getting involved in a new relationship, getting involved in a team, or getting involved at school. The three types of stress. One is acute. It is the shortest stress ever. So acute is like when you're excited for like a race that you're going to run. So if I was on a track team, I'm stressed, but it's excitement because of the urge in my body to do something, to achieve something. The other one is chronic. That's a long-term stress. That's when you're like more like unhappy with your marriage, or unhappy with a relationship or a friendship, or unhappy with your job. This third one is episodic stress, and that is from time to time. So when you are overly competitive or aggressive for no reason, that's episodic stress. An example that I can give you for each one, well, I already said one for acute. That's when you're excited for a race. Episodic is when you're overly competitive. So for example, so say I wanted to do a video game with my friend, and I'm like, yeah, like I gotta push myself, I gotta practice and practice, because when I see her, we're gonna do this game together, and I'm gonna make sure I win. I'm gonna make sure that I do it right. So you're stressing your mind out by making your brain work even harder than it has to. And then the chronic one, which I would relate to work, is when, for example, I worked at a place for a long time. Or let's bring up the example of Acme Wedget, working at Acme Wedget. You could be unhappy with the position that you're in. You could be working there for 5-10 years. And you're not happy because maybe you're not getting enough pay, or your boss is not acknowledging the work that you've done, or acknowledging how hard you've put in for this job, this position. That is chronic stress, and I think that relates more to Acme Wedget, not really getting that support from your boss, or not really getting along with your coworkers, or feeling like you have to stay because you haven't found another job to be at, or you haven't found another fit. So those are the three stress points, and that is it. I hope you liked my video, and thank you. Okay, so now I'm going to reflect on my own personal experience and talk about when a time I was successful and unsuccessful with stress. Example with unsuccessful stress is I was working for a company for about 5 years, and I was treated unfairly. My boss wasn't giving me the recognition that I deserved, and unfortunately, I was working so hard that I was being so stressed out because I felt alone. I felt like I didn't have support. And because I was stressed, I started having health problems, and I actually had to end up leaving my job due to my health problems taking a toll because of the stress. An example of successful stress that I've had would have to be a time where I was doing a project for school, and I was really stressed out because there were so many elements of the project. But I ended up taking a deep breath, giving myself 5 minutes to walk away, clear my head, and really look over the project and separate them and divide them into pieces, so that way I won't get as stressed out. By doing that, that helped me to be successful in submitting my project and actually getting the A on it. So those were two examples of my personal experience with unsuccessful and successful stress.